I'm actually gonna do this countdown. Hey! What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode. Living Big with Big Regg and Ghosts. We here to talk about what just happened with Baltimore, and it appears that the Ravens have signed yet another wide receiver in Laqoun Treadwell. And I don't know how Mr. J is in the building. Let's what up, Mr. J? You got living legend in the building. What's good, sir? Always. B, what do you think about this Laquan Treadwell signing? What do you think this means?
It means that the Raven are no longer ravening. It means that, like actual teams that need depth in certain positions, you bring in nine guys while you still have a 90 plus man roster to work with, and you work out who's the best instead of saying, hey, we got six guys here, we'll be all right. And after those six guys, you keep five, as the Ravens do. They would keep five and wait to see who's cut from somebody else's team to try and pick that person up. But you only seen that person in preseason, so you don't know what they actually can do.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Um, this puts a lot of guys in trouble. That sixth spot was already going to be a battle because I do believe, for one, that five spots were sold up before this signing. I do believe, obviously, Bateman, OBJ, Zay, and Aguilar and Duve. I felt like those five spots were locked. Now you sign Treadwell, and he might have locked up his signing alone. Might have locked up the sixth spot. It's going to be interesting to see. Excuse that noise, my other cell phone here going off. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in that battle, because I do want to see other guys get a shot. Um, Dante Demas Jr., James Prochet. Um, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Unfortunately, yeah, he is. We know that's coach's guy. Unfortunately, he's gonna end up out of here. Um, but there's a number of guys, even Tylen Wallace, that I'd like to see them work in this new offense. And I guess that in part would tell if the situation was really, hey, Greg Roman his offense just didn't fit receivers, or these guys really were just trash. Because not only I look at this not only as a chance for those receivers to redeem themselves, but for this whole, I want to say, for the offense itself to redeem itself, and for Eric DeCosta to redeem himself. Because we've been saying over and over again that he sucks at drafting. He can't draft a wide receiver to save his life. Da, 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 da. But what if the situation was that they were good receivers, they just didn't work in Greg Roman's offense? And I know that's being highly optimistic as far as their talent goes. But it's one of those things that I was interested in seeing, and I'm still going to get a chance to see it because who knows? The training camp may come, and then you got the preseason games, and they may come and they may show out in the new offense in the preseason for all we know. And that's what's really going to decide that sixth spot is the preseason, because more than likely, you make that sixth spot, you're not going to see much playing time with those guys that's in front of you. There's almost no way. I think Duve definitely makes it because of his ability, and we can put him anywhere on the offense as well as special teams. And he's like our go-to punt returner and kick returner. I mean, he's the only guy we've had actually score on special teams in quite a long time. So I don't see him going anywhere. And some of the reports came out. I think I was watching the Ravens channel earlier, and he's apparently doing very well in the preseason. I mean, in OTA so far, he looks really, really good. So he's one of those guys I think we'll end up keeping around. Um, Hopefully, like I said, those other guys get a chance to show what they got. But now, what up, Hendo? I wouldn't go this far. I wouldn't go this far. We
Hendo's
still
trolling.
D Hop. Yeah, he's got to be because D Hop is a way better pickup than Treadwell, and maybe this signing was just to say like, "Hey, I'm sorry, we can't get D Hop, but we'll give you somebody that can make contested catches," and that's kind of what that seems like it was. Uh, they're playing against defenses on OTAs now. They're against defenses and OTAs. I think this team is going to be interesting to say the least. But like I'm gonna watch every preseason game. We only get 3 of them now. I wish we still had 4, somewhat, because I enjoy watching the preseason games, just because I enjoy watching the young guys and seeing what potential they got. But three is good enough. I mean, we get the extra regular season, so that's even better. It's going to be interesting to see because instead of signing Treadwell, I would have signed Marcus Peters. I think that's money that could have went to MP. I don't know what the deal is yet, but it's still money that could have went to MP. If we constantly feed defense over and over again. So either it's like I said in one of my other videos, Caillou Blue Kelly's doing his thing out there, or they're just going to toss the young guys out there and say, hey, make it happen. We picked you. Now it's time for you to show why we picked you. And I'm fine with that because they did that with the offense. They did that with Prochet, with Wallace, with Duve. They kind of took those guys, forced them down our throats and said, this is what you get for receivers. Let's see these guys first, and then we'll try to make changes after that. And those changes probably wouldn't have been made if it wasn't for Lamar and his contract request anyway. So, but still, I would have liked to see MP back because MP is the definition of what a Raven is. Play Like a Raven was made for guys like MP, who's going to come in there. He's going to get in the other team's face. He's got that dog in him. You ain't gonna. He's not gonna back down from anybody. And I understand he's a chance taker, but I mean, over a career, he's been pretty successful at taking those chances. I'd stick with him. I think he's the dude to bring in. So I don't know. And you know who Caillou Blue Kelly is, Hendo. You know exactly who Caillou Blue Kelly is. Hey man, listen. I don't want him back. I don't want Jason Pierre Scissorhand back at all. He can stay in free agency. As far as pass rush goes, I say let the young guys go ahead and get it. We can't say if we bring back JPP or all these other veterans, how are we really going to see what Ojabo has as a pass rusher? No, Sean Wade was not that dude.
You talking about the safety we traded 3 years ago?
The young dude the corner we drafted, and then they ended up trading him. Or no, he got plucked off the practice squad, I think. Or traded him to the Patriots or something like that.
Yeah, we traded him to the Patriots for I think we picked him in the 5th, and we traded him to the Patriots for a 6th-round pick because we had like 5 safeties in camp or something like that.
Yeah.
Back to your receivers. I think them 6 spots were locked up. And the other 2, whoever else was competing just to see if maybe they could change the coach's mind. But I think that Treadwell kind of unlocked 6th spot. Them bottom 3 guys are going to fight it out like piranha. That's for 1. 2, no wide receivers are going to work in Roman's system. I don't care if you had Randy Moss. It wouldn't work in Roman's system. Randy Moss could get maybe 1,200 yards and 3 touchdowns, but it's still going to be handed off, pass it all day long.
Yeah, I listen. Who did you have as the six that was locked up?
I
Because
didn't
I had
have
my sixth spot open.
I didn't have a six that was locked up, but knowing the Ravens and the Raven way, they'd already committed to these are our 6 guys, and these other 2 guys on the outside, if they can do enough, they can unseat that guy. But I mean, let's be honest, just like the other 4 or 5 years, we knew who the Ravens were going to bring into the season before the season even started.
I don't know, man. I don't think it was locked up for them. Only because we see how much John Harbaugh himself loves Prochet as a person and a hard worker. And you know Harbaugh, he doesn't care if he take the hard work and no play over actually getting on the field at any time. And that's one of the things that bothers me about Harbaugh.
Well,
Because
that's why I said there that 6th spot was locked because
so
Harbaugh
but
knows what he's going to take unless somebody can do enough to have one of the other coaches argue it out with Harbaugh. Harbaugh walks in a training camp like, yeah, I'm taking these 6 guys, I'm taking these 4 in this position, I'm taking these 3 in this position. And unless
yeah, I
somebody
can
does
see that.
a job to take one of those guys' spots, Harbs already knows who he's walking with.
It
Harbs knew
just
that he was
depends. I think for me it depended on, not to cut you off, it depended on who Harbs loved more out of Prochet and Tylan Wallace.
that's what I'm saying.
Be-
Whoever
Yeah,
he
because
determined,
they both provide special teams, but Wallace was more of a he's a little bit better than Prochet at special teams.
right? So he knew he was he was probably going to take Wallace over Prochet, and that was going to be that. But now you add Treadwell to the mix. It's like, damn, now I got to see what all 3 of them can do because I can't just
Big
say
physical guy.
right because
Hmm.
we added top end and the bottom end didn't change. So the depth chart pretty much stayed the same except for push this guy down one, push this guy down one. Okay, you didn't make the 6th and 7th cut. They're already out. He had that determined in as soon as we signed OBJ and we signed Lamar back. He was like, all right, here's my depth chart.
I believe it. I believe it. It's I got a real love hate relationship with Harbaugh based off the things he does. Um, this season, a lot of this season and how it goes is going to be based off of him and his coaching decisions in clutch moments and knowing when to go for it. That you can't just go whenever the player says go. The player's always going to tell you to go. So it'll be interesting to see how things form. I don't know if um if Treadwell takes the sixth spot. Right, I'm gonna say if because I want to still give those other guys a shot. So if he takes that sixth spot, it doesn't necessarily mean he's gonna see playing time. At least not much of it, barring obviously injuries and things like that. He could be a veteran um, practice squad player too. One of those guys we bring up in case there's injuries. You stash
Well,
the veteran and keep the younger guy that you don't want other teams to have.
I was gonna say that, like, even though you don't make that 6, they keep 2 or 3 wide receivers on a practice team. So
Come on, Jay. Can we at least put a pause on it? I mean, I know what you was doing there. Can we at least pause that?
he didn't even spell it right because he said I men arm of Lamar until he can't no more. So I
Yeah,
need
but
you
we
to
we
check
we know
insults
what he
correct.
mean. But I still need that pause on that.
He gotta get his insults correctly.
You know what I'm saying? I think the more important thing was the pause. Living Legend got it. You got to pause that thing.
Yeah, I think it
You
was a little
can't.
late though.
You know
Violation
what
of
I'm
terms.
saying? There you go. Jake put it out there. He paused it. All right. Respect. Respect.
Now I do
But
have a question for you, Reg.
yes,
If we're coming in with 9 receivers deep and only 2.5 viable running backs, what does that tell you about our pass to run ratio?
oh, we about to be chucking the ball all over the field, which
Left,
is
right,
good
front.
though.
If you can't catch it running out the backfield, you might not be getting any yards.
So listen, I was one of the people that wanted us to actually get rid of Gus in the offseason. I wanted to keep JK. I wanted to keep Justice Hill, and I wanted to get rid of Gus and then draft a young running back. But we got a bunch of young guys in undrafted running backs that are actually pretty good. Can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. So competition is going to heat up there as well, especially with now. The sad part is JK tweeting he doesn't seem to know what his future is with the team. That scares me a little, but not as much because it is the running back position. As much as I hate to say it, it's replaceable. Do you always find talent like that there? No, but he's also been hurt. So it's not like he's just been tearing up the field since he drafted him. So it's one of those things with a new offense. Todd Monken does a good job in putting his guys in position to be successful. So he's technically replaceable. But of all the guys, I think Gus will be the one to go.
Well, Gus is less replaceable in a system like Monken because Monken's going to take advantage of what he does, and he's
Well,
going to push
absolutely.
to hammer people on the goal line. Oh, it's either going to be Drewski or it's going to be Gus. Now, if JK can prove that he can run those goal line runs, he'll throw him in there sometimes just so defenses are guessing. But I mean, he's going to take Gus and run him between those two fucking guards and tell them to hell with everybody. And hey, if he gets to
So
you, run him over.
this brings up the question. Hold on, let me pop this up because Hendo here. Listen, we got a shot. I mean, I don't know how I feel about horrible. Like I said, you call him horrible or horrible for a reason. I don't trust him. To be honest with you, I don't trust him. And yes, I guess it does when you look at it that way. I guess we can pause that one too, Jay.
I mean, we say squad deep and everything else, so I mean, it's kind of a stretch, but what have you?
I like JK confidence if his knees match his confidence. Sky's the limit. Facts.
Now,
Hey, what's up, coach?
yeah, with horrible. The problem is, if you realize when they said earlier in the season, earlier in the year, he didn't know much about Todd Monken's scheme and ability. I don't think they gave him too much leeway on hiring who's going to be the offensive coordinator, which means they might have told him, "Hey, bro, you close to the end of your leash. So if he interferes with what how Monken calls his plays, and that stuff doesn't work out, Harbaugh might get himself fired."
So at first I was thinking he didn't have much leeway or much choice making in it. But after hearing the interview where he was like, oh, his sister said Monken was a good dude, that was really the reason why he hired him. I was like, oh, okay, well, they didn't care what he did then. They just kind of told Harbaugh, go get another guy. Because he said his sister introduced him to Monken and that he hired Monken before even looking over his tape of what his offense is. So I think Harbaugh had complete control of hiring. It's just a matter of he's one of those guys. He's gonna trust Monken. He has to trust Monken to come in and run his offense because he doesn't know. To me, Harbaugh doesn't know. He probably knows the bare minimum about offense and defense because he's a special teams guy. That's his niche. And
Harbaugh
I don't know how he's gonna do.
That suspect. Like, I don't believe that he just hired a guy without seeing what his offense was. I believe they made
that was out of the horse's mouth. He said it.
It was out of the horse's mouth. He also said, "We don't know what Lamar's injury is. The doctors don't tell us. We don't know what his timetable will be back. We think he'll be back next week, though."
That's true.
The
Harbaugh likes
truth
to play games.
here is not the same thing because ain't no way I'm basing a what was it, a 4-year contract on an offensive coordinator
I think
on
he would. That's the
that
scary
he's a
part,
good
man.
guy. Nah,
I think he would. That's all he brings in is his friends. He
that
goes,
but it
"Hey,
wasn't one of
you're
his friends.
family approved. Come on in." Look
It
at Greg
wasn't one.
Roman. Look how long Greg Roman was here.
But Greg Roman worked with his brother though. Actually worked with his brother.
So yeah, but that's basically that's family approved. That's what I'm saying. If you're family approved, he's gonna say yes immediately because that's who he is. Harbaugh's he's one of those guys. If you family, you got a job for life. Didn't we just hire? We just hired an assistant this offseason that's been a family friend forever. Not because the guy was good at what he does, but because he was a family friend of the Harbaugh. So he was like, "Bring, come on, we got a job for you. We'll
What was
create a
his
position for you."
what was his position?
I don't even remember. That's what I'm saying. That's how bad it is.
He
They
was
brought him in as like offensive assistant or something like that.
he was the offensive assistant of the running backs coach. He had no bearing on anything. What the hell was he going to
E-
tell Jake?
exactly. But Harbs brought him in because he wanted to give a friend a job. That's the point I'm making. Harbs, I think half the time when it comes to his coaching staff, he cares a little bit less. And I know it sucks to say it, but he cares a little bit less what your resume looks like as compared to who you are and how him and his family know you. If you're in good standings with them as people, he's going to give you the job over, hey, I know I failed as an offense coordinator over the last 10 years. This is just an example. But if you give me a shot, Harb's just going to be, all right, I got you. Come on in. Look at Roman. Roman hadn't had a good passing offense ever. Okay, he had top running offense. He hadn't been back to a Super Bowl since the 49ers. So what made them believe, okay, we're gonna have Greg Roman take over Marty, and we'll see where it goes.
Because until that 4 runs on the goal line, Roman had his foot on the Ravens' neck in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you know what? He didn't. Let's be honest about that Super Bowl. If the lights don't go out, that's game over. One of the biggest blowouts in Super Bowl history. If those lights don't go out, the team literally sat there. This was another problem I have with Harbaugh. The team didn't after the lights went out. The team didn't make adjustments, and they got cold. If in that situation with other head coaches, they got their team ready. Them lights come back on. Their team is like, all right, let's go finish them off. They're ready to go back out. They're ready to kill. They make adjustments immediately when they see the change in what the other team is doing. The Ravens have struggled with that because of Harbaugh. He doesn't force his coordinators to change, and he doesn't make changes himself. So in that Super Bowl, the lights go out, the team gets cold, and Harbaugh, who we all gave some type of credit as being a leader of men, well, I think he's kind of over the last couple of years kind of proven that he's really not. I mean, yes, he's good for getting backups to step up and play when need be, but he's not very good at getting his team rallied. Like with the guys that's been in the game, he's not very good at getting them rallied and keeping them energetic as he should be.
I
Like that
mean,
Super Bowl should have been a blowout.
before that Super Bowl, I said, you have Ray Lewis, you have Ed Reed. They're running the team. Even under Brian Billick, he was supposed to be like the offensive prowess, and his offense sucked. And still, you have Ed Reed and Ray Lewis and other pieces that are basically like, the two of them are the leadership of the team, offense and defense. I mean, Shannon Sharp said it himself. They knew those two were the leaders of the team. Those two was going to do whatever it needed to take to be done. He would ask Marvin Lewis before the game. Shannon Sharp said he would ask Marvin Lewis before the game, how many points do we need to score to beat this team? Marvin Lewis would say 13, and Shannon would be like, look, he goes to guys, give him a little pep talk. Look, I know we're not a great offense, But if we can get one touchdown and 2 field goals, Marvin says we win this game. That's all. Get
Mm-hmm.
that, and we're good. And that's what he did. If Marvin said 13,
Mm-hmm.
aim for 13. But he was like, as far as the leaders of the team, Marvin and Ed basically led the offense, pretty much were the leaders of the offense and the defense of the whole team. He said, all I had to do was convince them that, hey, we get 16 points, we win. And we get that 16 points and we won.
That's the thing. And I don't know if you saw this. The Cowboys, Michael Parsons recently just came out and said the Cowboys' current defense, it reminds him of the 2000 Ravens defense. Not possible. And I think what people don't realize is the difference in how the game was played. Back then, you were allowed to be physical. People was landing on the quarterbacks. People were, they were basically fighting on the field. That's why people looked at us the way they did, right? You can't do that in today's NFL. And I think that's where Harbaugh, as a head coach, has to come in and rally his guys on defense specifically. He has to say, listen, I know our backs are against the wall. I know the refs don't work in our favor. The rules don't work in our favor. But we have the talent. He has to say something to be able to get a team up and ready to go. If you're failing at that, then you are useless as a head coach because of the simple fact you are only a special teams head coach. And your special teams, we don't know how well that really is because we've been blessed to have Justin Tucker, Matt Stover, like these great kickers. And then we've had phenomenal punters up until now. I'm not really sure how I feel about this punter right now. He's off and on. I'm questionable with him. Huh?
You mean the 5th round?
Yeah. I don't even like to say his name, man.
His name, the 5th round. That's all you need to say.
The 5th round, yeah. Not even, it was a 4th, wasn't it? Wasn't it a 4th? I think he was a 4th. He was one of the 4th round picks. And it still pisses me off to this day thinking about it.
But see, you as a coach, you don't even have to give these pep talks to the defense. The defense knows what it is. You need to have a dog on the field in multiple positions. You need to have that cornerback, you need to have that D lineman, and you need to have that linebacker that people point to him and be like, hey, yo, don't mess around with him because you get him activated, you get him riled up. We used to have that on all 3 levels. We used to have Suggs on the line. We used to have Ray as the linebacker. And we used to have Ed back there. It was a dog on all 3 lines of the defense, and now it's kind of like, hey, if you get a little too rowdy, hey, we want you up out of here. They told people, hey, in 4 years, we found a reason for you to be gone. Hey, we ain't resigning.
That's all Harbs. That's all Harbs.
And it's
you can't.
Basically on him.
He wants to make sure he's the only dog in the locker room. But that's not. It's just not feasible. You got to have somebody on the team like that. You got to have more players on the team like that. And it's just like, so I want to go back when we were talking about that Super Bowl. I want to go back and talk about, I saw Jacoby Jones made a comment. This was a while back now, that if they had Lamar Jackson as their quarterback, or if those guys were Lamar Jackson's receivers, the Ravens would be unstoppable and be in multiple Super Bowls, right? I know a lot of people ain't gonna agree with what I'm about to say, but just goes back to me telling people that Joe Flacco just wasn't that good. I was recently watching highlights of that whole Super Bowl run, and Joe, on so many plays, just got lucky because he was just winging the ball in the air, and dudes were just coming down with it. Like, it was like, no, I'm taking it. They won it. Jacoby Jones, he had that fight. He had that dog in him. Anquan had that dog in him. Torrey was like, either I'm catching this or you getting a penalty. Like, they had a different type of animal at wide receiver back then. And I think Joe Flacco just got lucky enough to be the quarterback of those guys.
Yeah, Anquan would leave his feet in a heartbeat to try. He would high point the ball all day long, take the hit in the back on the side, and hey, it's whatever. Jacoby, he wasn't as big, but he would go up and jump for him, or instead of
He made plays.
going back for the ball, he would plant his foot in the ground and do like and come back and get the ball. He would come back the 2 yards to get the ball to keep the defensive
Mm-hmm.
back. And then, but see, some receivers don't do that because they feel like if they come back to the ball, they lose that 2 yards. Jacoby would come back to the ball and be like, "Look, I'm gonna come back this 2 yards to make sure I secure the ball, and I'm gonna shake and bake. And if this dude leans to the left and I go right, 15 extra yards." He had the confidence in his wiggle that,
Oh, well, yeah,
hey,
his moves was crazy
right,
though.
this guy messes up, I'm getting that 2 yards back, or I'm getting more. Most of these receivers now are like, if I go back to 2 yards, they're gonna tackle me. Nope. Nah.
Yeah, a lot of guys try to sit and wait for the ball coming to him. It's just not the way you're taught to play the game. But Jacoby had that. He had that shake and bake. Boy, he was woof, and he got up to speed fast. His stride was crazy, absolutely crazy. Brent wants to know who we think is our best defensive lineman.
Right now, I'm at a BK.
I agree.
He
I
blows
think
up.
right behind him is probably Broderick Washington. Only because we haven't seen enough of Travis Jones.
What about Pierce?
That's my guy out of UConn. That's my guy, but we haven't seen enough of him.
What about
Who?
Pierce?
Yeah, I was about to say Pierce was injured last year, so he's gonna have to show up, be healthy, and actually provide something, which he was doing darn good before he got hurt. That man was shutting the middle down. There was no running in the middle when he was in the game. So it'd be nice to get him back so he could stuff the run, and maybe even with him eating up so many blockers, it may help the pass rush out too. I'm hoping.
You need to say pause with him eating up so many blockers.
Yeah, but that's what he do though. He's an eater. We all know this. All right, he's an
He
eater.
might
Pause.
block
He's an eater.
blockers.
Now he eat the blockers at this point. He be chewing fingers and everything. He be chewing fingers and everything in there. He do whatever it take. He be biting people jerseys. He do whatever it take. I respect it.
But,
he get down there and he grub.
But to Hendo's point though, the key of all of this is the decision making of Harbs. Harbs is the Matt Hasselbeck of coaches. He's a game manager. You give him the talent, let him make the decisions, let him manage things here and there. He's not the guy you can say, "Hey, I need you to call offensive plays," or I need you to get the defense here. Like, he doesn't do that. For that, Mike Tomlin does stuff like that. When they were in the Super Bowl and got scored on, Tomlin went to the defense and said, "Hey,
I can't even call him a game manager."
Right.
I can't even call him a game manager.
Do as a defense to still be legendary. And after they got scored on twice, he somehow got the Steelers defense to get that out of their heads, stop them for the game winner.
Yeah, I can't call him a game
Mr.
manager.
Abuser was doing what he was doing on the offense, messing up. He went, "Hey, this is what I need you to do." He went to his offense coordinator. "Hey, stop running them plays. We need to run these plays. Once Ben gets back in his rhythm, he gets his confidence, then you can run these plays." I can't say Harbs does any of that. Harbs is just like, "Hey, I trust plays. I trust him to call the plays." Oh, wait, you stopped running our number one running back midway through the second quarter? I never noticed.
Yeah. And that's and that right there is why I say he's not a game manager. Because not only does he have some occasional poor decision making, or when to go for it, when not to, but he doesn't actually manage the game. He doesn't actually go. The only time I see Harbs on the sideline making real decisions is if he's looking at a replay and questioning whether he should throw the red flag, which that's really upstairs telling him whether he should challenge or not. They're up there looking at the replay telling him, yeah, go ahead and challenge, So he's listening to somebody else on that. The only real time I see him out there in people faces, if somebody makes a good play, they're coming off the field, he says, good play. If they mess up, he's yelling at them. But really, special teams. When he's telling God, getting ready, look at the sideline when he's getting us ready to line up for a punt or a punt return or to go out for kickoffs. He seems like extra excited and pumped at that point. He's all right, special teams. This is why I'm here. Like, this is what got me to the dance. But we need you to do more than that.
I'm gonna tell you who Harv's is. That time in the wire where they had to go to the west side to get the pack, and he pointed
Man,
to.
I ain't seen that show in like.
He pointed to old boy. He said, "Hey, you in charge till I get back." And old boy got all extra excited. That's who Harv's is. When the general manager ain't there, and he just leaves one of the hostess in charge to make all the decisions. That's Harv's.
That sums it up pretty well right here. What Livin Legend said. Harv's is elite at bringing props into the locker room to send his message.
Preach.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And then he says he constantly repeats his dad's old sayings. Like he's come up with nothing new. He's still running around. Who's got it better than us?
Everybody.
Nobody. Come on. Everybody does at this point. Like, it's terrible. And without Lamar, who knows how bad it would be. Without Lamar, let's be honest, if Lamar never got put in, Harbs would be somewhere special teams coaching again. I mean, he's gotten carried through his career. I mean, I can see one of these really bad teams going, "Hey, John, we'd love to have you," but they wouldn't go anywhere. He doesn't flip teams around. He literally got hired and picked up a team that was ready to play, ready for the playoffs.
Ready to play.
We were literally we were a quarterback away, a running back away, and he got those guys the same year he got picked up. We signed him, then we draft Joe Flacco. So you got serviceable guys to work that with the rest of that good offense, and then we had a top tier defense. John got lucky.
So if you look at it, they basically recreated the same team that they had for the last Super Bowl. JK is Ray Rice Jr. They're hoping OBJ ends up being something like Anquan was. You're hoping that Zay Flowers is your Torrey Smith.
Yeah.
You're hoping Aguilar, I guess, would be your what would happen to be your Jacoby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ray Rice was carrying it. Basically, it's the same exact team and the same exact theory, just you have Lamar at quarterback. Wide receiver, the same role. The tight
diddle.
Role.
Diddle. Ray Rice up the middle. That was the 27-yarder, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, 27 yards on fourth down for the game. Like that play right there. A play like that is what defined that season. That man was like, "Nah, I ain't going down. I'm picking this up. I ain't going down." Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. He was amazing. And I don't think Ray Rice gets the credit outside of Baltimore that he deserves. Yeah. I know what he did. I know it was wrong. You never put your hands on a woman. So I agree with that 1,000%. But as a professional athlete, that man was phenomenal. And he probably should have got another shot. I know the Colts started to give him a shot, but he should have gotten another shot. But at that time, he was towards the back end of his career. He did start to, tail off a little bit. But I think you give him another season, and he does decent enough to help a team. Decent enough. And the only reason I say it was okay giving him another shot was because Kareem Hunt got back in the league after he gave a chick the big boot. Like, he kicked the girl halfway across the hotel room. So if you're going to give him another shot, and you're going to give a dude that was on the Cowboys at the time, who got arrested for domestic violence against his wife, if you're going to give him another shot, let those guys play. Then Ray deserved another shot.
He got another shot, did it again, and then started the UFC career.
Facts, sure did. What up, Mike? And I think that was all the difference right there. TMZ, absolutely, living legend. TMZ was the difference. If it had not been for video evidence, I think going out to the public, then Ray would have got another shot. I think if they would have just seen the video behind closed doors, they'd have been like, all right, well, as long as your what ended up his wife eventually, as long as your wife is fine and she, you guys can explain it, then whatever. But as soon as it went public, everybody wanted his head. You know what I mean? He had to be used as an example. They had to make an example out of, and
I,
it's
some of it had
unfortunate. But you have a number of guys that happened to over time. Somebody's got to be used as an example.
some of it was an outrage because at first they tried to downplay it. Even the Ravens like, oh yeah, we don't have any video evidence X Y Z, and they try to make it seem like they did because the NFL tried to make it seem like they investigated everything
Yep.
and they couldn't find anything. And then when TMZ bought it, it went from okay, it was up, okay, we investigated, we didn't find anything, it went back down, and then TMZ released that joint. And it was through the
Yeah.
roof. It's like,
And
oh,
that's exactly what happened. It became, we got to make an example out of him now because
right.
they know they saw the tape. It's just a matter of, all right, well, if we could keep the tape quiet, then we can get past this. We'll suspend them for a little while, and that just be that. That tape came out, it was like, yo, so y'all think just a couple game suspension was enough? And because I guarantee it was one of those things where they talked to him, they talked to the wife, and the wife was probably like, you know what? We were both drunk. We weren't in our right minds. It was a mistake. I've already forgiven him. I don't think this shit in his career. And the NFL said, understandable. So we'll just take a couple games away. You got to do better. No more going out and drinking, and we'll get past this. And then the tape comes out, and it's like, oh, well, guess what, buddy? Sorry to say, but now they want our heads on the block, so we got to put your head. We got to offer you up as a sacrifice. And if had it been a star quarterback or a star wide receiver, I think it would have been a little bit more of a fight to go against him not having a career. But because he's a running back, and
If
we
it
know
was
the value of the running back was declining, they were just like, okay, bye.
if it was Ben Roethlisberger, they'd let him off like they did the other two times.
Facts. I wasn't gonna bring that up. I was gonna
Shout
try to avoid it
shout
because
out
it's
to
a Ravens channel. I was gonna try to avoid it so we ain't just look like haters. But it's true. The man, it's only so many times you can be accused of sexual assault and get away with it, and he managed to do so quite a few times. And Ben isn't the greatest human being. Now that's not to take away from him as a quarterback. I'm gonna say for him, just like I just said with Ray Rice, what Ben did off the field was terrible, but as a quarterback, he was a phenomenal player. You kind of can't fight that. He's had an awesome career. He's probably going to end up in the Hall of Fame. Um, his numbers are decent enough, are good enough, so I won't be surprised if he ends up in the Hall of Fame. Darn good career, but what he did off the field, he's a terrible human being. You can't you can't shape it. Another guy like that is Darren Sharper. Remember Darren Sharper and what he did?
oh,
I don't even want to talk about what he did, but he had a phenomenal career. Great football player, horrible human being, and it goes to show that you can't really judge a book by its cover. You really got to look into who these guys are, and sometimes after the game, you see when they're done with football and they got nothing kind of to hoist them in the air to be held better than everybody else and held accountable. They kind of fall into obscurity and they start doing stuff that they probably would have done had they never made it to the NFL. And unfortunately, it's a lot more bad people out there than good than we think
hey,
or
some
than
people
we
got
want it to be.
that's all it is. Hey, I gotta stay good to keep this money. Now, once this money gone, or some people stay in the league long enough to keep themselves out of trouble. They too old to do what they would have
This is
done had
true.
they not been in the league. Sometimes the league is saving people. Sometimes people saving the league.
That's true. That's very true. It's very, very true. And some guys just, I don't know, man. Some of the stuff make me want to strangle a couple of those
I tell you
bad
something.
guys, so to speak.
My face looking real slim on the screen.
Listen, why do you think when we're in the Discord and we're talking about, you're talking about all the food you eat, I'm like, yo, it don't look like you eat a single thing. That's why. If y'all don't know, Ghost over here, he does food reviews, right? Phenomenal. You got to check it out. Go check out his channel. Food reviews are great. The food looks absolutely amazing. Definitely go check him out. Get my boy subscribers up immediately. Immediately. And we gotta get him going live on his channel again. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get him going live on his channel again because I'm always saying, look, fire. You see the living legend said fire.
I tell you this.
Fire.
At 6 foot, I'm still only 213 pounds somehow.
That's because you're 6 feet. And you got a fast metabolism.
My
Mine's
girl,
slowed down.
she swears the more I eat, the more weight I lose. And I'm like, hey, I don't know what to tell you, but if you eat like me, it might not work out the same.
See, look at this. I might make a mango
I'm
cheesecake
trying,
on my
I'm
own
trying
one day.
I told my sister I need a mango passion fruit cheesecake for the cookout before my wedding because that's fire.
See, I'm gonna need to try it. I'm gonna need to try it.
Yeah,
I don't care which one of y'all make it. I need to try it.
Hey, now she can burn. I'm good on the grill. I'm A1 on the grill. But in the kitchen, she got it. She's trained and she loves to eat just like me, so she can cook. I said, hey, here's what I want you to make. I want you to just make this. And she just does it. And I'm just like, thank God.
The legend said he's 6'1" and $190. Y'all some tall motherfuckers, man. Y'all tall for no reason.
6 feet with the shoes.
Y'all should have been in the NBA somewhere. Or go out there. Y'all hold on. First off, 6'1". Why was y'all not auditioning to be a Baltimore Ravens wide receiver when y'all know we needed the help? That's what I need to know.
I run a smooth about 4.5, 4.6 and a half.
That's crazy.
Nothing.
You listen. What did Prochet run? You good, bro. That's good enough. Prochet couldn't have ran a fast time. Prochet is one of the slowest receivers I've ever seen. But until Rashee Rice. When I see Rashee Rice, he was worse.
I'm not running from nobody. I'm looking to hit somebody. I could have been a running back at best because I'm waiting for you to come.
I think you good, Jay. You don't need to lose the 20. Yeah, pause that, bro.
I was 6 foot 230 probably like 2-3 months ago.
That's fine. I don't think that's not bad at all.
Last year in like February, before I got a stomach virus. Before I got sick, I was like 6 foot 270.
Listen, when I played ball, I was in. Mind you, I'm only 5'8". When I played ball, I was that's right, short stack. Listen, when I played ball,
I tell you, I was joking about the toilet paper.
He just got in trouble.
Blame Reg.
Listen, don't blame me. I ain't do nothing.
And Reg was like, hey, this live stream, and I was trying to season the chicken for dinner and get ready for the live stream at the same time. And I completely forgot.
Listen, we multitask. That's what we do. You can't blame me for this one.
At least we got a lot of food paper. A lot. Wow. I got 3 single jump.
I'm slow as shit, but my hands better than Bateman's and Prochet's. I know that for sure. Oh man. Chill, don't come at my boy Bate like that. Bate got hands. Prochet I'm questionable on after last year. Don't come at Bate like that. That's tough.
Oh, I didn't even feed the fish. And I walked in, seasoned the food.
Hey yo, I respect it. If it's still fit, throw it on, bro. I'm not gonna argue that. Listen, when I played football, right? I was one of the smallest guys on the team, but I was the most athletic. And I gotta get my brother on here because he'll be able to, he'll be able to confirm this for you. But I'm 15 years old. I was already dunking a 10, 12-foot court. Look at the misses. Hey, you want to come jump in? Say hi?
His wife won't get on
Come,
stream.
come say hi. I was already 10, 15 years, at 15 years old, I was already dunking a 10 to 12-foot court with ease, too. And my brother can attest to this. I got to get him on here one day. And I ran a 4.24 in a 40-yard dash. I was a heck of an athlete. Problem was, I was injury prone like a mug. I was always hurt. I was always hurt. My back. My knee. My calf. Oh, I think I tore my groin. I was always hurt. That was my major problem. If I could have got past the injuries, I think I would have been a decent athlete. But who knows? Trying to get my lady to come over here because she's in the other room. So I'm trying to get her to come over here and say hi. Babe, come say hi. Come on. Pop in, say hi. His wife is on right now, too. Pop in, say hi.
Hi.
See, ain't no harm in saying hello.
So she can tell the story.
I got finished cooking your meal, master.
Yeah, get out of here.
Don't even tell the story about the two-foot Lizzie.
Oh my god!
Listen,
I like her already.
we not going into the
I like her.
the 2-foot hot dog conversation.
Oh,
We're
now
not
it's
gonna
a
talk about that. If we want to talk about that, we'll talk about that at the roundup.
Okay.
But I can't talk about it on stream. That's
It
then
is.
it get crazy. Luckily, Suge ain't in here.
It sounds interesting.
I'll tell you the short version when we get.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah,
I'll see y'all.
you can tell her the short version off the camera because we get into that whole conversation. Listen, our stream the other night lasted about 4 hours. 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours of it was talking about glizzies.
Okay.
So I'm trying to avoid that. That's why I don't even want Suge to come in here and hear the word glizzy because then it's gonna be a wrap. I already know what's gonna happen. But it was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
But later, not now, because
later. Not on the stream.
Not on the
They're
stream.
already be clowning me. They're already be clowning me. It's a problem. It is an absolute problem.
He did it to him. We had no clue.
See, that's exactly my worry. Jay got it right. That's my worry. Sugar gonna pop up out the blue.
What's that clown? What was that clown movie?
Pennywise?
Yeah, he gonna pop up like Pennywise.
What up, B?
I got a lot of toilet paper to handle here.
Isn't it right there?
Yeah, you in trouble too. See?
And I think it's some of my backpack too. Cause I got that. I got 2 of the 4-packs and 3 of the single rolls. We in there. We up.
As long as no water gets on.
Listen, Suge is I'm glad he didn't pop in here at that time. The stream would have went way left.
Way left. It'd have been out of the ballpark.
Yeah, tell me about it. But I'm not gonna hold us here too much longer. I want to do a little stream. Give us time to relax and recoup before the round table tonight.
Hey,
you know we gotta go watch that round table tonight. I know it's gonna be lit in there tonight. So, you know what I'm saying?
Monday, I get home, pop on the rest of the my YouTube favorites, and get ready for that round table on Monday.
Yep. I had to get us up here and get this stream in because that Laqoun Treadwell signing kind of came left field. I did not see it happening. Wasn't even something that was on my radar. But that's just like the Ravens to do it, right? That's their whole motto, I guess. So, but the receiver room battle is going to be highly interesting. I can't wait to see it. Ghost, tell them what you got going on, where they can find you.
Oh, well, you can find me on Instagram, A6Ghost _, YouTube, A6Ghost. And, with the little guidance and what do they call that? Motivation from Hendo. I might actually be getting me a little Twitter name, which hopefully A6 Ghost is still available there.
You got to get on Twitter. You got to get on Twitter. Um, Things get out of hand on Twitter occasionally. I try to avoid it at times because of the stuff I see, but you got to get on Twitter, especially if you want to get hit with a lot of that Ravens news early. Twitter is the place to be.
What happened was I was on Twitter, and I would forget that it existed because half the time between the Rogue Discords, the Tally and LBHT Discords, I find out before I found out on Twitter. So they say, "Oh yeah, this happened on Twitter." I'm like, why do I even have Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter is one of those things. Far be it. It's a lot of people on Twitter, but it's still underrated because so many people have no idea. No idea. And I don't know if you've ever seen Chris just joking on Twitter. He's wild. Bro, the stuff that he be tweeting, hilarious. Chris just joking, that's his name for an absolute reason. Funny as heck. Wild stuff he be posting. I know you see him on the round table, and we be cracking up at him on the round table. When you see his Twitter posts, you're like, okay, now I see why the name is there. Like,
it'd be the quiet
all
ones
day long. That was another Leonard Floyd to the Bills was another one. That was the Bills, man, trying to stack up.
That one, I was like, the Ravens could have got him. Like, I mean,
that would have been our pass rusher.
Right. They could have got him over Bidwell, Treadwell, Sleepwell.
But again, like I said, we could have signed Marcus Peters back over Treadwell. But this is the Ravens. They said, I guess, I don't know if this was, well, actually, no, I do know. I'm going to say this was another EDC thing. I think EDC said, listen, I said I was going to make over the roster. Well, now I'm going to sign Treadwell, and I'm going to give you the reason, or I'm going to give you a chance to go into the season with a whole 6 brand new wide receivers. Although I do think Dew is going to be the one remaining from last year, Livin Bateman from last year. But he's putting it out there that, hey, guys have to show up and show out now because you're not just going to make it by default anymore. Because that's what a lot of those guys did last year. They made it by default. Not this year. It's not going to happen.
That's what I felt like without adding this is what was going to happen. Harps was going to walk in with the same guys that he knew he was going to walk out with. Hey, these my guys, and that's it. And I think EDC's like, nah, you got to make decisions. I'm not going to make it easy on you. You have to make these decisions. And when you make these decisions and say, hey, we're not going to keep these 3 guys, and you let them walk and they go somewhere and perform, EDC's going to be like, hey, I gave you what you needed. You didn't use it. And he's going to go to Bashotti and be like, hey, I need you to get rid of this guy because I brought in all this talent. He cut him. I brought in Darren.
So that's why I said that earlier. That's why I said this is. I think having a new coordinator, this could be a redemption for EDC because if it proves somehow that those guys had the skills to get the job done, that's a big FU to Harbaugh and Greg Roman because they just couldn't unlock the potential and this new coordinator comes in and he does the job. So, that's part of why I want to see. I'm with Coach, where I want to see Prochet perform. I want to see Tyler Wallace perform. Like I want to see those guys get out there and show something early in the preseason. If they get out there, because like in previous preseasons, they got out there and they made plays, but it wasn't like they were getting open. If they get out there and all of a sudden they're running wide open in the secondary and it looks like they're doing different, then you turn and you go, Greg,
that's why
wasted the talent.
I don't know if Monken was actually Harb's hire. I think it could have been an EDC hire because I feel like Harbs is at the end of that rope where EDC's like, Harbs if this doesn't work, that's what I said. If this doesn't work out, I got Harbs getting fired. So I'm not sure
Yeah.
if Mark Newton was a Harbs hire or if Harbs just took credit for it because he's the coach. And, being the Ravens and the Ravens way, they don't want to say, hey, we know that Harbs fucked up the last two offensive coordinator position hires. So we hired a guy so
Yeah.
that, so that instead of hiring who Harbs was out, we hired a guy that we believe can get the job done. If Harbs doesn't go along, if Harbs don't go along to get along, then
Oh
he's
yeah,
going to.
he's done for.
So I think
I don't
I
know.
feel
I don't know.
he just made it seem like he was all aboard of this, but you can't hire offensive coordinator without knowing what type of things he does.
That's the one thing that's good is that Harbaugh can and will because he's a friend of the family, and it
I don't think they
bugs
were
me to
going to.
death.
In the position Lamar had them in, they were not going to let him hire a friend of the family. Just hire a friend of the family. I think
I don't know.
EDC chose a guy. EDC
I
probably
don't
would
know
say, "Here's
because
your list, and you have to pick one of these guys." And I think that's how that went.
I don't know because bringing in McDonald, I think last year kind of lengthened his leash because McDonald ended up working out.
But they knew who
McDonald was one of his guys.
And McDonald was actually a top coordinator where he was.
I don't know if I'd say top, but he did do pretty darn good.
I mean,
But Michigan, if you go back and watch, Michigan still gave up a crazy amount of points. And they lost some games they shouldn't have lost. And that was under his defense.
Well,
but,
with Hutchinson and what's his name,
Ojabo.
Hudson Ojabo, they were scary.
Well, they also had Dax Hill, I believe it was, right? Dax Hill was their safety as well. So they had, and all those guys got drafted. But still, I don't know, a wait and see on a lot of those guys.
They got drafted and then was kind of depleted. So, but he showed if you give me a good amount of talent, this is what I can do for you.
Well, let's hope he continues to do it. And they build on that defense from last year because we got the talent.
He was with the Ravens before. He was an assistant before they hired I forgot his name. Before they hired Wink Martindale.
Oh yeah.
He was an assistant Wink Martindale was there, and so was he.
Yeah.
And Wink got the job there, and then he got the job with Jim.
Yeah.
So he's one of those guys who's been there for a while, and they were probably thinking about promoting him, either him or Wink, and then Wink got the job, so he went and, did college for a couple of years.
But that's why I think Harvey is saving his job by eliminating other people's jobs. Like the firing of Wink, that bought him some time.
It wasn't fire.
We go through that season and then parting ways with Greg Roman, that bought him more time. And hiring McDonald brought him time.
But they didn't fire Wink. They wanted to give him a cheap extension.
Yeah, that was another mutual parting ways. Yeah, but we know what it really means.
He refused that cheap extension, but I don't think it gave Harbaugh any leash because we've always been good at defense. Like we built the whole team around defense.
I think the only reason I say it did is because when we let Wink go, they tried to say we didn't get where we needed to go because the defense couldn't make plays. So that's why I said for Harv's, because he's just the head coach, he got to plays off of. He's a special teams coach, so really he lets his coordinators do their job. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, listen, I don't know how much more you want me to do. I'm just a special teams coach. I'll let these guys go out there and do what they want. And Wink kind of just did whatever he wanted. And they're going to say, he goes and say that, everybody's just going to believe him because he's a special teams coach. So that's why I said it gave him a little bit longer of a leash. And then, McDonald actually doing well lengthened it a little more. And then getting rid of Greg lengthened it after he tightened back up, saying, hey, we got to part ways with Greg. That give him more time. But I think now you go into this season, if somehow there's some type of coaching blunder, you have no choice but to say, John, you're the problem. You got to go. And then from there, it's up to the new head coach whether he wants to keep the same staff or bring in his own staff. But that's when things will start to get, real crazy. But hopefully this year, Monken's offense is a good enough flip that Lamar goes off and we win a Super Bowl.
I just hope we can trade Tomlin for Harbaugh, just straight up. We'll throw in a first round pick and Prochet. Tomlin and Monken on the same team with Lamar as the QB. I'm saying though.
He said crochet like that was gonna do anything. I'm gonna end it on that one. Hey, we thank you for rocking out with us for over an hour now. We'll see y'all all again tonight on the round table when we go to watch those guys. Tell them once again where they can find you.
A6 Ghosts, YouTube, Instagram, maybe Twitter soon. Basil in the chat, causing havoc.
All right, and y'all already know. Livin Big with Big Regg here. TikTok is Livin Big with Big Regg as well. And just BReg29 on Twitter. I'm going to be switching it over soon because I want it all to be the same. Y'all, have a good evening. We'll see you at the roundup. Stay blessed. Peace.